When I first started using graphic organizers, it challenged me personally to become a more reflective teacher, to start looking at curriculum and looking at the information that I was expected to teach my students, and to begin to narrow that information down to the big ideas, and to get away from the fluff and the trivia which our textbooks are inundated with. When I became a more reflective teacher, it was a frustrating process because I would attempt to begin a unit or a lesson, and I would think, what am I teaching? Why am I teaching this? Why am I teaching that? So it also challenged me to become aware of big ideas and to get away from the trivia. In turn, my students are becoming experts at questioning authors when we're reading textbooks and wondering, and deciding for themselves what is important, what isn't important, and to stick to the big ideas and the essential details that support these ideas. We do have room for trivia. It's entertaining, it's fun, but we don't test it. We definitely do not make it a core part of our curriculum. And that is probably one of the most wonderful things about using these strategies. It does help students become more adept at knowing what is important and what isn't important.
In the second video, what we'll be doing is taking a tour of the Make Sense Strategy software and taking a peek inside and looking at the various things the software provides. As you might guess, the frame is in that software as well as a variety of other think sheets that you can begin using immediately. There are a number of strategies in there for teaching vocabulary in ways that makes it more memorable. Kids tend to understand the vocabulary better and retain it longer. A number of tactics for teaching big ideas and using project-based learning strategies, as well as various ways of assessing understanding of big ideas. In fact, the whole thing focuses on a number of strategies and tactics for making your instruction strategic. To begin part 2 of this video, what we're going to do is take a tour of the software. And I will be showing you how to use the software and introducing you to different segments on the software and telling you a little bit about each of those. So to begin with, you should put your CD in the CD drive, and your screen of your computer will look like this. So what we'll do is we'll click on My Computer, and your screen will look similar to this. And what we'll do is we'll go over to the icon that looks like a CD, and it'll say Make Sense on it. So I'm going to click on that, or double click it, and your next screen will look like this. Now you'll notice that there are several things on this screen. One of them says click here to begin, and so I'm going to click there, and that brings us to the home page. Now, just to share with you a little bit about the home page, first of all, if you look at this multicolored box here, that's what we call the toolbox. Now, each of the sections of the toolbox contain a variety of different strategies and tactics related to that particular topic. For an example, in a moment we will open up the graphic organizer section and take a look at that. A little bit later on we'll take a look at some of the project-based learning tools and tactics and take a look at those as well. Another thing about this Make Sense homepage is if you want to know about a little bit more about me, you can click on that, and there's some information about me. If you want to know something about a colleague that helped me put some of this software together, Marcia Rock, obviously you can click on her. Now, you may have noticed that a moment ago when I returned back to this screen, at the very top is of your screen will be a toolbar, and there'll be a couple of arrows at the top, forward and back. And so one of the ways of navigating through this software is to use the forward and back arrows. Likewise, another way to navigate, just like you would with a word processor, there's a box where you can drag that to different locations over on the right hand side, and that will move you up and down a particular section of the software. This operates much like a web page does in terms of clicking on links. So another thing to keep in mind is anything you see that's in pink is probably a link to a whole other level of information. So if you want to learn more about a particular technique or see more examples of it and so forth, click on the link, the pink links. At the end of part 2, what I will be doing is providing you with a little bit of information about what you'll need to do in order to tour this software yourself. And we will return to this section right here that says elementary, middle, and high school, because these are basically little mini tours. To get started with what's in the software, what I'll do to begin with is let's just take a look at the graphic organizer section. So I'm going to click on that. And a little welcome screen will come up. And you'll notice a moment ago I said that click on pink items and they're links. So for an example, this says Graphic Organizers Menu, Graphic Organizers Resource, and ThinkSheet Template. So let's just take a look at the menu. What comes up now is a variety of things that you can choose from that provides information about graphic organizers. For an example, there's a section called Frequently Asked Questions about graphics, how to construct a graphic organizer, instructional tips for using graphic organizers, and then the resources. So let me just share with you the resources. So I'm going to click on that. Now, since there are basically 5 types of graphic organizers, hierarchic, and that's the same as like hold apart, or compare and contrast, cause and effect, and so forth. Let's say that I'm interested in hierarchic graphics. So I'm going to click there. And what comes up is a screen that looks like this. This is really pretty neat because what you can do is just sort of scroll through these. And for an example, in the part 1 of the video, we took a look at the frame. So if you're interested in using a frame, you can just go to click on hierarchic and then scroll down to the 3 main idea frame and then click on it, and that will come up on your screen and you can print it out and it's ready to use. So it makes this graphic organizer really accessible. Now you remember at the top there's this toolbar, and I'm going to use the arrows to return back to the previous screen. Now, by the way, if you have a black and white printer instead of a color printer, then you can click on the black and white version of the graphic and one of those will come up. So to return to the top of this page, I'm going to drag the thing to the top where we have hierarchic. Now you'll notice here a series of pink links. Okay, one of the pink links is says Make Sense Home. And you're going to find these on all of the pages that you visit, because this will always allow you to go back to the home page in case you're not sure where you are, you're lost, or you just want to start over. If you just click on Make Sense Home, that will always take you back to the beginning. Likewise, you can click on the arrow at the top, the back arrow, and that will take you back to the previous screen. So what we're going to use is very similar to a web page. One of the things I should mention about graphic organizers, if you want an explanation of hierarchic graphics with examples of them and so forth, you can click on the link that says explanation. So I'm going to click on that. And so what comes up is a little mini chapter about hierarchic graphic organizers, and it provides you with a variety of examples and explanations of that particular pattern. So I'm going to go back to the top. We'll click on Graphic Organizers Home, and that will bring me back to this. And so just like we have hierarchic graphics, we can do the same thing with compare and contrast. And so now you have a variety of different compare and contrast graphics. Most teachers are familiar with Venn diagrams, and so if you'd like to use a Venn, you just click on it and it's ready to print. Just like with the hierarchic graphics, let me scroll back to the top. We can click on explanation, and again there's another little mini chapter that provides a lot of examples and explanations of how to use compare and contrast type graphics. And so if we go back to the home, again there are a variety of different ones to choose from. What I'm going to do is go to the Make Sense Home, because we're not going to explore everything about the graphic organizers. I'm going to sort of leave that with you. Another type of tool are concept tables, or clarifying tables. And these are really great for teaching vocabulary, and you can use them for teaching terms or about famous people or important places or important events. Clarifying tables are really useful devices for teaching new terms.